What's your favorite memory?
Favorite memory with the baby cakes?
Yes.
Well, I am the official scorer, and I've been around baseball all my life through my radio stations, broadcasting games for 50 years. Started out in 1966 at Southern Miss when Buffett and I were roommates, and of course it kept him from getting blackballed from the fraternity. And of course here I am, and he's way up here now. And let's see, what can I tell you? I used to steal records from the campus station so he could learn the music, and play for beers and tips down at the Townhouse Lounge in downtown Hattiesburg. And later on he played on Bourbon Street, Gunga Den. I don't know if you remember the Gunga Den, probably before your time, but he played there, and then of course on to bigger and better things. And favorite memory, was that the question?
Favorite baseball memory in New Orleans?
In New Orleans? Well, actually, I go back to when I was just a youngster, 9 or 10 years old, living in Mississippi, when my dad used to bring me down to the old Pelican Stadium, where the Fontainebleau is now, to see the New Orleans Pels. And they were a Pittsburgh Pirate farm team back then, and so I go back there, and then I worked my way through college on the Mississippi River on towboats, pushing oil barges up north. We went all the way from New Orleans to Chicago, New Orleans to Pittsburgh, New Orleans to Minneapolis, so they could have heating oil for the winter. And worked out there 5 summers, and was a tankerman pushing oil barges. So, and before that, I worked at Pontchartrain Beach, at Pontchartrain Beach. You'll have fun. But anyway, I was a waiter at the Ship Ahoy restaurant when I was 17. And what can I tell you? Had my own newspaper when I was 12 years old. Sold papers when I was 6. Was editor of school paper. But was in radio for 50 years. Was a Navy carrier pilot. I had 9 radio stations, Mississippi and Louisiana. The first one I had was in Texas and Houston, and then I just got through selling my last 3 and kind of semi-retired, but working with the baby cakes as the official score. And have a place in the French Quarter I've had for about 10 years, right on Jackson Square, and we ushered in the King and Queen of Spain today. And I'm involved with several organizations in the quarter. The Crew of Cork, which is a wine drinking crew. And we have 3 walking parades a year, plus we have a luncheon the first Friday of each month. And then Obituary Cocktail, which is kind of interesting. People with ties to the quarter, we check the obituaries each week, and if our name's not listed, we celebrate on Friday with a happy hour, no rules and no dues. And in fact, when I first started going about 9 years ago, maybe 5 or 10, now we get 50 to 75 people there on Friday. Different bar every Friday, mainly in the quarter, but sometimes in the Maroney or the warehouse. And tonight, for example, it's 6 to 7. Tonight, as we speak, it's at the Burgundy Bar at the Saint Hotel, which is a neat place. And but it's given opportunity to visit just about every watering hole in the quarter, in the warehouse, and the Maroney. And we have a big wedding coming up tomorrow night. My ex-wife's niece, one of my last ex-wife, her niece. So anyway, what can I tell you? I've done some stand-up. I did some stand-up at Margaritaville here and a couple of places in Slidell. I did it for several private parties, which I talk about my ex-wives.
Congratulations.
Yeah. They say somebody saw a car out here on Airline today with a bumper sticker said, "Honk if you've been married to Tommy McDaniel," and people were.
Seems like you've made a lot of fond memories through your time.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the city's celebrating a 300-year anniversary.
That's right.
And with your deep experience in the city, I'm wondering, how do you imagine New Orleans would be after another 100 years?
Oh man, look where we've come in the last 100. Who would have thunk it? You know, who would have thunk it? We can't even imagine what it'll be like in 100 years. We can't even imagine.
If you could describe New Orleans in one word, what word would that be and why?
Cocktails. No, I like New Orleans. Especially I like where I am in the quarter, and I love people. I think we do have a few problems that need to be ironed out. The homeless situation in the quarter is getting to be bad. A lot of them are just bums, not necessarily homeless. Because look, I give out a card to them that says "Help is near," and on the other side are 3 shelters where they can sleep and get free food and get free lodging. And I talk to these places, and they want them to come. They don't have to sleep on the street. You know, they don't have to. I think that's excuse me. I think that's a problem in the quarter, especially in the quarter right now. And it's not just New Orleans. It's every town. I was in Chicago last summer. It's downtown Chicago. The same people, the same place every day, and they don't have to be. You know, and that if people want to help them, help these shelters. That's what I say.